Welcome back to No Man's Sky, everybody. Xxiou from Xxiou Games YouTube channel here with you once again for part 2 of my No Man's Sky Relax Mode walkthrough. Now, if you saw part 1, we did all of the beginning stuff all the way till it took us to the space station. So we will be picking up from that point. So if you missed episode 1, maybe go back and watch it if you want to check that out. But if you're at this point, you can pick it up from here. So now that, guys, just so you know, before we get into this is unedited. I'm just going to record it and put it out on YouTube as a premiere. And so people can comment and leave all their tips to help all you new people. But anyway, so here we go. In case we forgot what we were doing, we can look at our log. That's important, guys. You're going to be using the log a lot in this. So we only have one primary mission right now, so it's this. It's telling us to explore the space station. See, on the bottom right, it's always going to tell you, as long as you have an active mission selected, it will tell you on the bottom right what you need to do. So, explore the space station, find life forms, to ask about the mysterious signal. Okay, so while we're on the subject, all right, this is a space station. Now, space stations come in multiple types. This is the most common type you're going to see. But there are also pirate systems, which look a bit different. And there's also abandoned ones where there'll be no NPCs whatsoever. And the space station will look kind of wrecked. And there's no merchants or anything in there. And no ships land in there. But what there is a terminal you can sell to. And a portal. So that's abandoned stations. All right, so this wants us to talk to these aliens. So this is something you're gonna do at space stations because you can learn alien words. Oh, wait a minute. Ask about other travelers. Okay, so he was no help. See, so right now we're doing the mission. So it's gonna have us ask about certain things based on the mission. But normally when you interact with these guys, you'll have the option to oh, look at this. Oh no, I don't, no spoilers. But normally they will teach you a word. Okay, so there you go. You get a little thing about the space station. But before we move on to the next part, I'm going to show you the things in the space station. So space stations will have a portal here, so you can port back to your base or any base you have. You can also use this to port to any prior space stations you've been to. Now, we haven't been to any, but once we have, that's where you go. Now, this person, they sell maps. These maps can be used in their system. Well, you can buy them, but you don't want to do the random map usually. All right, so there's a number of different maps here. So you got the planetary charts. They're gonna find secret cartographic data, emergency charts. These are very useful for finding like crashed ships and things like that. Planetary charts, finding buildings on planets. The alien charts will find the alien ruins, which you need to find portals. The settlement charts will lead you to a settlement. Now, you usually don't need this one because the settlement mission at one point will pop up and give you the option to get a settlement, to become an overseer of a settlement. But if you don't like the planet that's on, you don't have to take it. So if you find a planet where you do want a settlement, then you get a settlement chart and you fire it off in that system. Now the newest one is the upgrade navigation chart, which will lead you to a drop pod. And a drop pod will allow you to lock a slot of your exosuit for free. Now these two guys, these have to do with alien factions. Now, there are factions in this game. And this guy is a Korvax. This is a Korvax system. So it's too early for us to start these. But later on in the game, you can get missions in space stations and rank up with the different guilds and get rewards from this guy. Now you got your trade terminal here. All space stations will have a back room like this, but they're all not the same. Sometimes there'll be guys in it, sometimes there won't. Now it wants us to go over to the other side. Now any ship that lands in a space station, just so you know, you can interact with the pilot and you can buy things from them. They have things to sell, sometimes useful things. So like, let's see what he has. You know, he's got some ion batteries here. We don't have that much money though. Do we have anything we could sell? We do have a microprocessor, but I think we're gonna need that later. So, oh, we do have this sulfurine. Remember, we found that sulfurine in the last episode. So we're gonna sell that. And we're gonna sell the residual goop as well. And we'll also sell the frozen tubers because we don't really need those. What else does this guy sell? Actually, so yeah, if you wanted, you could, you know, you compare the two ships. As you can see, we don't have the money to either exchange or buy. So if you had a ship that was valuable, you could just do a straight up exchange or just buy it outright. If you didn't know, you can have up to 9 ships in No Man's Sky. However, until you get a freighter, you're gonna need a place to store those ships. So I wouldn't bother with multiple ships right in the beginning. Okay, so on this side, we got a few things. This thing will scrap your ship. So basically, if you interact with this, you can scrap your ship and it will, you can make a good amount of money in nanites scrapping ships in this game. This ship wouldn't be worth that much, but the way it works is like, so it's not gonna let me scrap this because I don't see how it says salvage unavailable. It's because I don't have another ship. So you can't scrap a ship until you at least own another working one. But when you do it, it basically, it gives you items that will that you can sell for money in nanites. So that's basically what happens when you scrap a ship. Now this is an appearance modifier, so if you want to change your look, you just come here. So I like to play as the anomaly type, body shape. This is just my preference. You guys can choose whatever you want, but I don't like the way we look. So I'm gonna go with set it to my normal kind of colors I kind of use, but we don't have all our helmets unlocked, unfortunately. That one, what's that one I used to like? That one's pretty cool, I think. Let's try that. And then the torso, I like, which is the one I like? The armored chest piece, I think, which is the one we can't, it's locked still. So these are things you'll unlock as you go through the game, you know? All right, gloves. I like those. As you can see, I've done this a number of times, so I kind of know which ones I like, and I know what colors I like. But, yeah, on a new playthrough, you're not going to have all the stuff unlocked yet. See, there's a lot of different backpacks, capes, different things that you can get, so... Do we want a cape? Everybody starts with cape. You start with one cape. That's the starter cape. And we don't have any other jetpacks. We just got the old school jetpack. So let's throw on the cape. Why not? Actually, can we Nah. Alright, let's throw the cape on. And all right, now we look a little bit more how we want to look. Okay, so this is the exosuit guy. So he sells upgrades for your exosuit modules. Now modules that you're gonna find at space stations, it varies. The higher tier space station, so there's different types of systems in No Man's Sky, and they have an economy set to them. So some are poor and some are rich. So in the rich systems, and we'll get into this more later, in the rich systems, you're going to find more S-class upgrades, and that's ultimately what you want to get to, is getting all S-class upgrades. But, you know, in the beginning, it's a little hard because you're not going to have a lot of nanites. So, you know, upgrade what you can, whatever you're having trouble with. Now this guy is your exocraft guy, so he sells exocraft upgrades for your vehicles. This guy sells the upgrades for your starships, and then you'll find one of these guys in every space station. And this is, so he sells multi-tool upgrades, but this is also where you find multi-tools. So let's see what we got here. This is kind of interesting one. It's a C class, but look, it's got that crystal. And it's got one supercharged slot right there, but it's got a crystal, so that's kind of cool. But this machine here allows you to upgrade your multi-tools. So you don't necessarily have to find an S-class multi-tool. You can get these things that will allow you to upgrade. You can upgrade the multi-tools class and purchase new slots on the multi-tool. Or if you have multi-tool expansion slots, which are things you can acquire in the game, you can use those here to unlock your multi-tool. So a lot of upgrading. Now, last but not least is this scrap dealer. Now, this guy, he's got a couple of functions. First, he sells some things, but these items are, you see, he wants tainted metal. Now, No Man's Sky has another currency. It's called tainted metal. And you can get it by running derelict freighters, which are like space dungeons. And the way you find those derelict freighters is you need to find a broadcast receiver. And I think this guy sells them. Oh, yeah, he does. So, but you see, it costs 1,650,000 units. Now, you can get a free one of these at the space anomaly. After a certain point from the wood face guy, you'll notice when you go to the space anomaly, it'll kind of prompt you to go talk to him. And I believe once a day, unless they changed it recently, everybody can get a free broadcast receiver, because the derelict freighters guys are very important, because the derelict freighters are where you need to go to not only get tainted metal if you wanted tainted metal, which also turns into nanites if you refine it. But derelict freighters have a lot of valuable items on them. They have building pieces that you can only get on those. And that's also where you're going to get your freighter upgrades. So a little bit down the road, you are going to be running derelict freighters. But yeah, this guy will buy items. So there's certain specific items you find on derelict freighters. And he will buy them, like the captain's log and stuff like that. But yeah, he sells a couple other things here. These were special rewards, I think, for a Halloween event that happened last year or a year before or something like that. So these are just like building pieces. And yeah, that's what the scrap dealer does. So it still wants us to use this. So all right, this is gonna let us have a new slot. I'm gonna go with the tech. Oh no, it won't give us that for free. It'll only give us a cargo for free. All right, so give us a free cargo slot. So as you're going through the game, you're gonna want to be hitting these things, but it does get really expensive after a time. So you may want to switch to drop pods or something like that. Okay, so now it's telling us it wants us to go back to our base, as you can see on the bottom right. So we're going to use the teleporter up here to do that. That's just about everything you need to know about space stations. There's probably a little bit more that I forgot there, but you know, and like I said, like in the pirate space stations, it basically has all the same stuff, but it's laid out. They look totally different than these space stations, and yeah, different layout. Okay, so here we are back at our little rubbish shack base that we built, and it wants us to check the base computer archive. So let's do that. Begin decryption. Again, I'm going to skip over this. Don't want to ruin the story for you, but again, I suggest you read it all. Alright, so signal required, life's possible distress signal. See, that's 18 minutes and 51 seconds on foot. So that's something we're going to want to fly out to. So let's just get in our ship here. We got a really good starter planet with a archive building right over there. That's really rare, guys. You don't usually see that. But what is rare in No Man's Sky? Pretty much everything. Nah, there's some things that you'll see that are more common than others. And that it really depends on how many hours you play. Now, this here is a crashed freighter on a planet. And you can actually, if we land here, we can interact with this little thing and find out what happened, and then we can actually go search around in there, and you can get some stuff in there, some useful stuff. So, all right, it wants us to go here, but it's probably gonna send us to the crash raider, but it told us to go here. All right, so it's using the analysis, the target sweep. The target is that way, so it does that sometimes where it doesn't lead you directly to the target. Leads you like near it. It's kind of annoying because it didn't always do that. That was like something they put in the game within the last year or so. I don't remember, but yeah, some more sodium, some condensed carbon. We'll take that. Might need it. Oh, got hit by that hazardous flora. We got Gex. But you see, it did want us to go here. So we could have just landed here in the first place. But sometimes you don't know. Look, they got like purple turtlebacks. That's awesome. These guys are great. Like I said, if you missed episode 1, almost every animal in this game can be tamed and made to be your pet. And you could train it. You could modify its DNA. And all kinds of stuff. Alright, so it wants us to come interact with this. Which is like, I don't know, salvage beacon or the, what do they call it? The black box. Okay. So, again, I'm going to skip over all this. You can read yourself. No spoilers, no spoilers. It gave us a blueprint. And it's the Hyperdrive blueprint, guys. All right, so it needs chromatic metal and 5 microprocessors. Now, the hard thing about this is microprocessors are not cheap. So, we actually may... I'm not going to do... Because we could get some money from this freighter, maybe. If we look around, but... Since you all might not have access if you're following along, because like I told you, No Man's Sky, everybody starts on a different planet. So you're not going to start on the same planet. You could start on a beautiful planet. Like you see, I got like a snowy one here. But you could start on a totally beautiful one or a super stormy, horrible one. My advice would be, if you do start on a planet that's like too difficult for you, then just restart the game, because that can happen. All right, so here's a trick. So your quick menu, which you get by pressing X on the keyboard if you're playing on PC, or I believe down on the controller, will open this quick menu. This quick menu allows you to summon your ship or exocrafts, freighter, other ships, the trade rocket, which I don't know why it would allow us to summon since we don't have it yet. But, so if you're like exploring a planet and you don't feel like running back to your ship, you can always do that and just summon it in. But what we need is, there's some cobalt over there. Cobalt. And copper. So, for this, yeah, we only have one microprocessor. And we don't have enough chromatic metal. So we're going to have to do those two things. So it's probably easiest to buy the microprocessors. I don't even think we have the blueprint yet. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah. See, it's pointing me up there. Because that's where we're going to need to go to get the microprocessors. Wait, that's cobalt. There's the copper. Okay. So we're going to run over there because copper refines into chromatic metal. So after we get that, then we're going to try, we're going to get ourselves some cobalt because this planet has cobalt on it. And out of the box, cobalt sells for a good amount. So we can just collect up some cobalt and make some money. There's other ways early on, like this early, to make money. Cobalt, though, I think is a really solid one because most planets will have cobalt on them. Even if it's not like deposits, it can have them in caves. This isn't a very big deposit, but hopefully it'll be enough for us. All right, so remember, we installed the terrain manipulator in the last episode, so now we can start mining stuff. So I'm going to grab a bunch of this copper to turn into chromatic metal. And then we'll go grab some cobalt. Hopefully be able to sell that. Oh, Sentinel. Watch out for them. They don't like when you do mining and things like that. And they will attack sometimes. That's a hollow terminus that you'll use to contact different characters within the game. It's kind of like a hologram phone call. And those are just some buildings you can go into. And there's a little on-planet save there. And again, you know, there's some rubbish around here. But every time you do one of these charts, not only does it do a save, but you're going to get nav data as well. And nav data can be used to get those maps up at the space station. Nav data can also be used for... what's the other reason? Oh, so like for calling your ship in to a landing pad or something like that, we'll take a nav data. If you go, for example, to, let's say, a trading post, and you want to, oh, we missed an animal right there. And you want to, ancient data structure over here. Oh, let's go check that out. All right, so these vary. You will find these on planets, ancient. Well, there's neat little things like this that you can find on planets. This one, sometimes there'll be huge fields of these. There's only 3 here, but these give nav data, so we'll grab that. Some more sodium. All right, and we're looking for, there's a cobalt deposit 518. Let's go over there now. We're still early game, guys, just so you know. This is like super early. Still, I would say, basically tutorial at this point. And it kind of carries on for a little bit. I mean, we are in the new relax mode, so I'm not sure if it goes... Well, no, I can tell you it definitely goes quicker than normal mode. So if anybody was wondering about the difference between relaxed and normal, there's a pretty big difference. And what it seems is dioxide. You're a lot stronger from the beginning in the relax mode. if we were playing normal mode, we would have to mess around a lot more with charging our hazard protections and stuff like that. But the relax mode seems like a more chill experience. So yeah, anybody who doesn't want frustration and just wants like a fun, chill experience, I highly recommend this mode. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. And, you know, I have over 2,500 hours in No Man's Sky. Oh, look, and we found these last time, but yeah, we are on the same planet, so we can't find them again. But again, guys, these are rare. These give sulfurine, mutant plants. Now, we don't need sulfurine. Sulfurine is used for high-end crafting, so it's not something you would need early on. So we're just going to grab it so we could sell it, because it sells for like a pretty good amount. Like, I think we'll get like 100,000 units for this, because we almost got a stack of 10K. Where did my cobalt go? I thought I had it tagged. Copper, cobalt. Ugh, see that eyeball just come out of the ground? Oh, and yeah, we should be scanning rocks. When you scan rocks and trees and stuff, you will see how it's a question marks. All right, so now, see, if I blew this up originally, I would just get ferrite dust. But if I do it now, I'll get ferrite dust and a bit of dihydrogen. So things have a secondary element that you can get. Things like rocks and trees and stuff like that. All right, this is not a good cobalt deposit. It's very small. Very small. Now, that silicate powder you're going to get. Silicate powder comes from, like, if you just shoot the ground in an empty spot, you'll get silicate powder. And silicate powder does have some uses. You can use it for charging some tech. And, what else do you use? And I believe you can use it for making glass. It's used it in crafting something, but... All right, we got berry technology modules. Another cobalt right over there. So let's go grab that one. And then maybe we'll see if we have enough money to make it to the space station. Now, one thing I would suggest you look for on your starting planet once you get the visor installed is look around for this icon. And, well, first, these are good to dig up because you're going to need these for building parts. The berry technology modules. So for the first many hours of the game, you're going to be getting these. Collect as many as you can. But there's also another icon that looks like this, and it's yellow. And what it leads to is bones. But those bones are very valuable. So if you start on a planet that has ancient bones, like if you look around in your visor and you see a yellow icon that looks like this and says ancient bones, you want to dig those up because they can be really valuable. Some of them can be worth over 1 million units just for one bone. So, all right, so we got 117,000. We don't really have much cobalt, but we do have the sulfurine, and the sulfurine is worth 196,000. Yeah, the cobalt's only worth about 8. Oh, and we still need to make the chromatic metal. Forgot about that. So let's do that. And make a metal plating. Wait, whoops. Whoops. We gotta go here. Metal plating. Yeah. Later, guys, we'll get a backpack refiner. And that thing is way better. But there's also way better refiners than this. There's multiple types of refiner. This is the portable refiner. Then you got the medium refiner, which can take 2 things. And then you got the large refiner, which takes 3. So there's a lot of refining recipes in this game that you'll learn over time. You know, mixing different things. Like, for example, a good money-making one to do is making chlorine. Now, if you just find some water, you can get salt. And when you get the salt, you can refine that into chlorine. And when you get the chlorine, you can then mix the chlorine with oxygen, which will make even more chlorine. So you can kind of keep doing it over and over again. Okay, so our ship, we still don't have enough chromatic metal? That's annoying. I think I had some more copper, I think. No, I don't. We only have 2. We gotta go get more copper. I'm sorry. This is how it goes sometimes. There's more cobalt. There's a bird. Cobalt. Copper, 774. Okay. Not very close, but what are we gonna do? We got a new milestone. Now those milestones, they're gonna come in handy later because there's actually a guy at the Space Anomaly, which we haven't visited yet. But the Space Anomaly is basically a space station that everyone in the game has access to. And in there, there's all kinds of merchants, and you can buy all kinds of things, and a lot of missions and stuff like that. So it's basically a space station that after a certain point in the game, you can call in anytime you're in space and go into. And yeah, it's bigger than the normal space stations. And if you have multiplayer turned on, you know, if you're not playing on Switch, you will see, that's where you will see a lot of other players and you can check out other ships. But we'll get to that. I don't know if in this episode we'll get to that point, but it happens pretty early in the game. At this point, we're, I don't know, probably I've been playing this for an hour total. This save, so, and all of it's been recorded live, no edits, so you guys have seen the whole thing. Oh yeah, so your terrain manipulator, that can recharge with the silicate powder that you get from just shooting the dirt. So if your terrain manipulator ever runs out of charge, just shoot the ground and get silicate powder. Whoops. And you'll be able to recharge it. But you can use a few things to recharge your terrain manipulator. Some things in No Man's Sky can take multiple sources of fuel. Not everything, but there's certain things. Portals, for example. But we'll get to that down the road. I have videos on all this stuff I'm talking about if you want to skip ahead. And I also have, if you didn't know, a full walkthrough already that I've already done. It was done in normal mode, but it's a bit longer than this one because it was, you know, I made it like over a year ago. But a lot of the info is still valid in it. So if you want to check that out, I will link it in the description. All right, so let's refine the rest of this. And while we're doing that, all right, we already had a look around here. Microprocessors are pretty expensive. Unless they lower the price, so maybe it'll be okay. These are humming sacks. Now, if we interact with these, they have albumin pearls in them. And that's something you could just sell. Don't really have a use, but you can find them on planets and sell them. Just gotta be careful, because sometimes the sentinels will attack if you take stuff like that off planets, because there's other valuable things you can find on planets too. Gravitino balls, things like that. These are early game things. guys, you won't be picking these up later in the game. All right, so we have enough now, but I'll just refine the rest. So Starship, there's our hyperdrive, and now you can see we have the chromatic metal. So all we really need is the 4 microprocessors, which hopefully we will have enough money to buy at the space station. And here's something you should know. Sometimes, like, see this cobalt deposit? This may not be here. This may have been one we already went to. So just be aware. Sometimes, all right, it's actually a good one. But sometimes, it will lead you back to a mine that you already mined, which is a little bit of annoying. I guess it's a bit of a bug, but sometimes when you're doing mining like this on planets, yeah, it'll, you'll try and find the next one, and you'll go out to it, and it'll be one you already did, so just something to keep in mind. All right, I don't know how much we got there, but we got a bit. All right, let's go back to the space station. See if we can get these microprocessors, because we got to get ready for warp travel. All right, let's take this. Let's take this. And I thought I saw some more humming sacks over here. I did. Did they respawn, maybe? Oh, they're just empty. Okay, we can't get those again. So, here we go. Let's see if we have enough money to get these microprocessors to get the hyperdrive installed. It's not going to end there, though, because after that, we're going to need to make fuel for the hyperdrive. But eventually, we will have hyperdrive. And hyperdrive is what we need, guys, to get from point A to point B. Basically, this is the No Man's Sky galaxy map. And this path is leading us to the galactic core. But it can lead to other things as well. Sometimes, like, there's a free explore option. Then you got galactic core, and that's all you have for right now. But certain missions are going to change this, and you can follow along with that. But if you want, you can just go to random things. As you can see, hyperdrive's damaged, so we can't even get out of this system. So until we have hyperdrive, we can't get out. And also, there's certain types of stars you can only get to with certain hyperdrive upgrades. So that's also something to keep in mind. But you'll find out on the galaxy map, like, it'll tell you which drive is required to go to a specific place. So, you know, you can just work on getting that. All right, let's see if we made enough money to get these microprocessors. First, let's sell the stuff we got, like albumin pearls. And, all right, there's the cobalt. Sell those. And sell the sulfurine. See, the sulfurine, look at that. The sulfurine sells really good. So we got really lucky there, guys. So I just have to say, you might not get that lucky. So look for things like ancient bones and cobalt. Like, if you can, 10,000 cobalt or more would be good. Okay, so we needed 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have enough. So thank you, sulfurine. So now we have the hyperdrive installed. So it usually takes a second to update, but should tell us what it wants us to do next in a minute. All right, let's give it a second. Journey milestone, cool. Moneymaker. There's a lot of milestones in this game, guys. So for me personally, that was something fun I like to do. Okay, so craft warp fuel, find antimatter recipe. Hyperdrive successfully installed. Turn to your ship. Okay. Little auto diagnostics telling us that the hyperdrive is installed, but we don't have the stuff to make the fuel, which is a warp cell. So it's telling us to go out to space and do a scan. So we're going to push the scan button, which on PC is C. Okay, so it found the antimatter. Now this is the only time in the game you do this way. Later, you make your own antimatter, and you can craft your own fuel. So this is not something you do every time. It's only the first time. Remember, if anyone has tips, leave them in the comments. Help everybody out. You guys did great leaving tips on episode 1. And that's awesome. Let's help the new people. And I was sorry to hear, at least for right now, apparently the Switch does not have Nexus missions. If anybody's on Switch and you're watching this, I would assume they're going to put that in. I don't know. But I would assume they will. Alright, so this is, again, they're going to do that thing. Proximate location. This is a weird planet, huh? Look at this one. Bubbles. Now, these bubble planets are actually really cool. They don't all look barren like this. You can find beautiful, beautiful ones. Now, there's some gold. We can mine that up for some money if we wanted some early game money, but I'm not going to bother for this. Okay, so it looks like it's sending us to this building. Now, there's a couple things of interest at this building. First, let's do a save. Get some nav data. And then we got a couple things we could search here. Look, another microprocessor. Early on, guys, if you have the storage, I would grab everything. Because a lot of stuff you'll need, and then the stuff you don't need, you can just sell. There's not very many things in No Man's Sky that you need to hang on to. Oh, these give ferrite dust and oxygen. Pretty good. Okay, now, buildings like this sometimes have these around them. Now, this is a whispering egg. Now, inside of this whispering egg is a larval core, and a larval core can turn into nanites. The problem is, if I open this, monsters are going to come out all over the place. So early on in the game, if you happen to see these, don't touch them. You're not ready. You need to upgrade your gun a little more, and your suit, you'll need more protection. I mean, do it if you want, but you might take a death. All I'm saying. Especially if you're playing in one of the harder modes. I mean, it might be easy in this mode. But yeah, you'll find lots of abandoned places like this. There we go. We learned the Korvax word for traveler, but it wants us to interact with this corrupted terminal. So let's do that. But first we got to remove this residual goop. Now that could be refined into stuff as well and ultimately turned into nanites. So you kind of want that stuff. Okay, again, I'm not going to read this to you guys. All right, so now we know how to make antimatter, and we have the stuff to make antimatter. All right, so actually, where's our ship? Because maybe to give you guys an idea here. Actually, we're gonna need a bit of carbon. Let's get our ship here. All right, so we're gonna craft antimatter and an antimatter housing. And now that we have those two, we can craft a warp cell. Now we take this warp cell and drop it there. And now the hyperdrive is refueled. And we should be able to do our first jump. But before we do that, I'm just going to show you what happens. This is what happens when you go for those. Also, another beginner tip. This might not be the best planet for it, but when you're in your ship, if you fly low and just shoot at the ground, look at the top right. Look at all the ferrite dust I'm getting. Oxygen, carbon. So you can actually mine it in your ship, and it's a lot quicker. So once you get your ship, you could do this. And depending on the planet, like if it's there's a lot of trees or something, you're probably gonna get a lot of carbon. This planet has more rocks, so I'm getting more ferrite dust and stuff like that, but you can really load up quick. So it's a lot quicker than just going around shooting rocks. And those geodes also will either pop an item or more of whatever. Like, all right, so these ones are pop, 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 pop. Those were all more ferrite dust. So just a little tip. Okay, now it wants us to go interstellar. So this is going to be a big part of the game, guys. You're going to be warping system to system for a long time. Hyperdrives are going to get upgraded so you can go further. So as you can see here, you see where the line breaks? That means we can't jump any further than that. Now, if we had an upgraded hyperdrive with more light years on it, we could probably jump a lot further. So that's something you'll get to. And you can also see on the map, it doesn't really tell us much except the race of the system we were going to. But once you get the scanners involved, the economy scanner and the conflict scanner, it's going to tell you the economy of that system, so whether it's rich or poor, and also if it's like at war or peaceful. So there we go, our first jump. So now we're in a new system. It's going to have new planets, different space station, different stuff. And we got an error. It's plotting a new route. Okay. So, it's telling us to go here. So that's the first thing we'll do. Actually, no, we won't. And remember, we're still doing Awakenings, which is basically tutorial. But we're going to stop the space station first. Always good to stop at a space station when you first get to a system. Just check it out. Check out what they sell there. Check out the multi-tool. Okay, you see that hostile scan right there? That means that there's ships that are scanning us, and they probably would have attacked had we not flown into the space station. So that does happen. That's why the conflict scanner and stuff like that is important, and upgrades to your guns are important. Later in the game, you're going to get a squadron where you can have up to 4 ships that will fly and fight with you. And you get to pick the 4 ships as well. So one thing you always want to check in these is the multi-tool cabinet and see what they got in there. Now, this one looks terrible, but I like to check them out anyway. And it's also fun to check out the ships that come into these and, you know, see what you find. You might find a rare ship, or you might not. But anyway, that is going to do it for episode 2, guys. We'll pick up on episode 3 at this same exact point. So I hope you're enjoying this. If you are, please leave a comment and let me know, because these do take a while to make, and if no one's liking them, I'm not going to keep making them. But if you do find them helpful, please let me know. And if you have tips to share, post them in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. Once again, I am Xxiou from Xxiou Games YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.